What's up, guys? It's your boys, and today we're going to be talking about the 5 best defensive playbooks in Madden 22. So yesterday we did post the 5 best offensive playbooks. So if you want to check out that video, you can. But it's only fitting that we complement the 5 best offenses with the 5 best defenses. I'll try to get into like the money plays and all that. I have a really good bomb that you guys can use starting immediately. I might post that later today, or it's going to get posted tomorrow. Either way, I know you guys want to see the money plays, not necessarily these long playbook videos. But I just want to make sure you guys start the year off right with the right playbooks. So I won't have a long intro. I'll get right into it. The only thing I'm going to say is make sure you comment down below what console you're going to be on. It's going to really help me, curate the content. Make sure I don't leave current gen out if you guys are on current gen. Yesterday, it was, I would say, like 70% next gen and 30% current. So if you're a current gen watching this, make sure you voice that you are on current gen. That way I do make current gen content. All right, so let's get into it. Coming in at number 5, we have the Carolina Panthers playbook. The reason I like this is one of my favorite formations is 3-3-5. I wouldn't say it's a formation you can necessarily stay in all game, like versus people who like to tote and stuff. But I just feel like it's a very beginner-friendly formation. It's got a lot of speed. You can put safeties in at linebacker. And I really like the alignment. And you can also get decent pressure just by sending 3. So it has 3-3-5. It also has double A gap, and it has nickel normal. Nickel normal is surprisingly good at shedding this year, and it's also just a traditionally really good balanced formation. So I feel like these 3 nickel sets are all usable. Now you don't have a 3-3-5 wide, which to many of you is a deal breaker. I think 3-3-5 wide is good again this year, and we'll be talking about that in our upcoming rankings. But I do feel like this was worthy of the number 5 spot. You also have dollar. And I believe, I wouldn't really use these 4-3 formations. I know some of you, maybe like you're in CFMs or you're a more casual player. You might use these formations like 4-3 over and over plus. But if you're in a competitive setting, I really wouldn't touch those. I would try my best to stay in nickel all game because you get a lot of speed at linebacker. So that's going to be it for number 5. Coming in at number 4, we have the multiple D. This was actually my number 1 defense coming into the year last year. It has dropped all the way down to number 4. However, it's still a really good playbook to choose from. The reason for that is it has both 3-3-5 and 3-3-5 wide. So if you guys are aware of what was going on in the meta last year, a lot of people would, sub in safeties here at linebacker. I'll show you how to do that. By the way, it's on a new UI. So what you have to do to substitute is go to the formation, hit wire triangle, and then you have to use your D-pad to go up and down, and then you can see the highlighted player. So for instance, here at this right outside linebacker position or left of screen, you can hit A or X, and then you can sub in players. So we'll put like a safety here. And what people would do is they would audible down to 3-3-5, or 3-3-5 wide, and they'll have safeties there at the outside linebacker position. If you look, you cannot put them in like this, so you have to audible down. So you do have both of those formations, which is really good. It kind of aligns with what people were doing last year. And then you have normal. We talked about that in the Panthers playbook. So basically, it's just kind of one-ups the Panthers because it does have wide. It also has dollar, and then it has 5-2. Maybe you get a little crazy with 5-2 and 3-4 odd. I just think, the fact that it has 3-4 odd, it's better than 4-3. You can just usually get better heat. You can have a little bit more flexibility with that extra guy that doesn't have his hand in the dirt. That's just a personal preference. But if you're a 4-3 guy, you do have, 4-3 normal if you really want to mess around with that. Coming in at number 3, we have the Ravens defensive playbook. And this is a pretty unique playbook. I would say it's kind of similar to the number 2 ranking, which we'll talk about soon. There's only one difference, and that difference is nickel triple. I think nickel triple is going to be pretty good this year. You can get some pretty exotic heat out of it. It's something that if you want something unique, you need to mess around with nickel triple. I feel like you can do a lot of different kind of pressure packages, and I think it's a pretty balanced formation overall. And I just think it's worth trying out. Now, this doesn't have a 3-3-5 normal, so you cannot audible down to the 3-3-5 wide. But if you like this as a run defense, it's no problem. You can have the linebackers at, outside linebacker where they're supposed to be, and it'll do just fine. You're just not going to be as good in pass D, basically. You're not going to have as much speed. But it still has that alignment, which is perfect. Then you have double A gap and you have 2-4-5. Both, and this is similar to nickel normal. You just have 2 outside linebackers instead of 2 defensive ends. Very good formation regardless of if they have their hand in the dirt or not. The alignment's slightly different, but at least with this one, you can do a little bit more crazy coverage adjustments. Now you also have 3-4 bear. I know some people like to get a little crazy with this. You can do some nice cover 0 blitzes out of this. So if you're a pressure heavy guy, you might want to take a look at that as well. But overall, like I said, it has 3-3-5 odd. I haven't talked about that formation yet. It's decent. I wouldn't say it's, as of right now, I don't think people have found the proper heat out of it. I know in previous years, you can maybe use, where's the play? LB cross 3 show 2. They would try to get that looping linebacker to come in. I've seen people attempt to get it to come in this year, and it just hasn't really worked properly. So I would say it's a decent formation simply because of the alignment and the fact that you can have extra speed on the field. But as far as getting really good pressure, I've seen more success out of triple, and that's what you want to mess with if you want to actually get blitz heavy. But with that being said, I think 3-3-5 odd is a usable formation. And then the last thing I haven't talked about is dime 1-4-6. This is a really good pressure formation against people who are pass heavy and do not audible down. So if you know your opponent is going to pass the entire game and they're not going to audible down to like I form close or something. So I guess that would require, if they're in like a bunch, that would need to have an extra running back on the field. And you would know that in the play call screen. But my point is, this is a really good blitzing formation. You can do a lot of send 4, get 1 free, send 5, get 1 free. And it's something worth using if you want to just have tons of speed on the field and have something that's at least situationally good versus passers. So that's going to be it for number 3. Coming in at number 2, we have the Dolphins and Giants defensive playbooks. The reason that they're tied at number 2 is because they are the exact same playbook. And one thing I'm just going to say straight up, this could be number 3. But the only difference between this and the Ravens playbook is it has big nickel over G, which is my preference over nickel triple. That is, as far as I'm concerned, the main difference. As you can see, it's basically the same nickel formations. 3-3-5 odd, 2-4-5, 3-3-5 wide, and double A gap. So same nickel stuff. It just doesn't have triple. But it does, and it has 1-4-6, but it does have big nickel over G. This is my preference because I generally am not a super blitz heavy person, and I like to get a little crazy with my coverages. And I feel like big nickel over G really gives you that flexibility, and I like the sheds out of big nickel over G. So that's a personal preference. This could easily be number 3 if you're more of a blitz heavy user and you'd prefer the nickel triple. But yeah, like I said, that's the only difference between the Dolphins, Giants, and the Ravens. So I'm not going to go into every single formation again as it's basically the same. So let's get into number 1. Coming in at number 1, we have the 4-6 playbook, and this is going to be the most popular playbook that you see. It has pretty much everything you need, and it also has a unique formation. I wouldn't say like unique in the sense of like you've never seen it before, but it does have 4-6 normal, which does allow you to put a speed package on the field. If you use your right stick, you can go to speed package, and now you have tons of speed on the field. Now the problem is you only have a single high safety. You can't really disguise your coverages super well, and maybe the sidelines might be hard to defend, but the fact is you have a ton of speed on the field, and it's a nice formation to have in your back pocket if you want to use something different. It does have 3-4 bear as well, which is, in my opinion, one of the more viable 3-4 formations or base defenses in general. I wouldn't really mess with 4-4. It might end up being good, but I don't really see that happening. I'm not going to really talk about that right now. So for the nickel defenses, which is kind of the bread and butter, has normal 3-3-5 wide. It does have the normal 3-3-5, which, so like I talked about, you can do the audible down to, by the way, do the audible down after the play call screen. Just to clarify for people who don't know what I'm talking about. And then, yeah, that's what it has. And then big nickel over G, so it has that as well. So if you're a coverage guy, this is a really good playbook. And then it has dollar, which is it's not quite as good as 146, but it's like the same alignment, and you can kind of do some of the same stuff out of it. So overall, I feel like this is the best defensive playbook. I don't know if many people would disagree with me. This is the playbook I see competitive players running. This is the playbook I'm currently in. But if you guys have a different opinion, let me know in the comment section. But like I said, I mainly want to hear what console you're on. So if you want to include both, you want to include what playbook you're in or what playbook you want to try, but just make sure you include that console. I need to know current gen or next gen. Very important to me. So that's going to be it for the video. Make sure you drop a like if you did enjoy. Subscribe for daily Madden 22 content, and I will see you guys either later today or tomorrow.